Readings out of the Zhuan Falun by Hongzhi. This Falun emblem is the miniature of the universe. It also has its own form of existence and process of evolution in all other dimensions. So I call it a world, Li Hongzhi. Let us talk about they. What specific connection do they have with one another? We will analyze it in detail. As human beings, we have a body in each of numerous dimensions. When we examine the human body now, the largest elements are cells, and they compose the physical human body. If you could enter the space between cells and molecules, or the spaces among molecules, you would experience being in another dimension. What does the body's form of existence resemble? Of course, you cannot use the concepts of this dimension to understand it, and your body must meet the requirement of that dimension's form of existence. The bodies in another dimensions can become big or small to begin with. At that time, you will find it also a boundless dimension. This refers to a simple form of another dimensions that exists simultaneously in the same place. Everyone has a specific body in each of many other dimensions. In a specific dimension, there is a field that surrounds the human body. What kind of field is that? Is it? This field is the day that we have mentioned. Day is a white substance and not, as we believe in the past, something spiritual or ideological. It absolutely has a kind of material existence. Thus, in the past, the elderly talked about accumulating or losing day, and they spoke very sensibly. This day forms a field that surrounds one's body. In the past, the Tao school held that a master select a disciple instead of a disciple choosing a master. What does it mean? A master would examine whether this disciple's body carried a great amount of day. If this disciple had a lot of day, it would be easy for him to cultivate. Otherwise, he would not be able to make it easily, and he would have much difficulty developing Gong towards high levels. At the same time, there exists a black kind of substance. We call it karma. And Buddhism calls sinful karma. The black and white substance exist simultaneously. What kind of relationship do these two substances have? We obtain the substance day through suffering, enduring setbacks, and doing good deeds. The black substance is acquired by committing bad deeds and doing wrong things or bullying people. Nowadays, some people are not only bent solely on profit, but they have stopped at no evil. They will do all kinds of evil things for money, and they will also commit murder, pay someone to kill, practice homosexuality, and abuse drugs. They do all kinds of things. One loses day when one commits wrongdoing. How does a person lose day? When a person swears at another, he thinks that he has gained the upper hand and feels good. There is a principle in this universe called no loss, no gain. To gain, one has to lose. If you do not want to lose, you will be forced to lose. who plays such a role. It is precisely the characteristics of the universe that assumes this role. Thus, in this it is impossible if you only wish to gain things. What will happen then? While swearing at or bullying another person, he is tossing the at this other person. Since the other person is the party that feels wronged and has lost something and suffered, he is compensated accordingly. While one person is here swearing, with this swearing, a piece of day from his own dimensional field leaves and goes to the other person. The more he swears at him, the more day he gives him. The same is true with beating up or bullying others. As one hits or kicks another person, one will give one's day away according to how badly one beats up the other person. And an everyday person cannot see this principle at this level. Feeling humiliated, he cannot put up with it and thinks, since you hit me, I've got to return the same. 1. He gives that person a punch back and returns day to him. Neither have gained or lost anything. He might think, you have hit me once, so I should hit you twice, otherwise I won't feel avenged. You will hit him again, and another piece of his day will be given away to the other person. Why is this day valued so much? What kind of relationship is there? What kind of relationship is there in the transformation of day? Religions state with day one will gain something in the next lifetime, if not in this lifetime. What will one gain? With a lot of day, one may become a higher ranking official or make a big fortune. One can obtain whatever one wants, and this is exchanged with such day. Religions also mention that if one does not have any day, both one's body and soul will become extinct. One's original soul will be exterminated, and upon death, one will be completely dead with nothing left. In our community of cultivators, however, we hold that we can be directly transformed into Gong. We will address how day is transformed into Gong. The community of cultivators has a saying, cultivation depends on one's own efforts, while the transformation of Gong is done by one's master. Yet, some people talk about setting up a bodily crucible and furnace to make dan from gathered medicinal herbs and mind activities. And they consider these very important. Let me tell you that they are not at all important, and it is an attachment if you think too much about them. Aren't you attached to a pursuit? If you think too much about it, cultivation depends on one's own efforts, while the transformation of Gong is done by one's master. It is good enough if you have this wish. It is the master who actually does this, as you are simply unable to do it. With an everyday person's body like yours, how could you transform it into a higher life's body made of high energy matter. It is absolutely impossible and sounds like a joke. A human body's transformation process in other dimensions is quite intricate and complicated. You cannot do such things at all. What does the master give you? He gives you the Gong mechanism that develops your Gong. Since they exists outside one's body, one's real Gong is generated from there. Both the height of one's level and the strength of one's Gong potency are generated from there. The master transforms your day into Gong that grows upward in a spiral form. The Gong that truly determines one's level grows outside one's body. And it grows in a spiral form, eventually forming a Gong column after it grows above one's head. With just one glance at the height of this person's Gong column, one can discern the level of his Gong. This is one's level of fruitation status, as mentioned in Buddhism. While sitting in meditation, his original soul can leave his body and reach a certain level. Even if it tries, his original soul cannot ascend any further, and it does not dare to move up. Since it moves up by sitting on his Gong column, it can only reach that level. Because his Gong column is just that high, it cannot move up any further. This is the issue of fruitation status mentioned in Buddhism. There is also a yardstick that measures Xing Xing level. The yardstick and one's Gong column do not exist in the same dimension, but they exist simultaneously. Your Xing Xing cultivation has already made progress if, for instance, when someone swears at you among everyday people, you do not say a word or feel very calm. Or when someone throws a fist at you, you do not say a word and let it go with a smile. Your Xing Xing level is already very high. So as a practitioner, what should you obtain? Aren't you going to obtain Gong? When your Xing Xing is improved, your Gong will increase. One's Gong level is as high as one's Xing Xing level, and this is an absolute truth. In the past, whether people practiced Qigong in parks or at home, they did it with much effort and dedication, and they practiced quite well. But once they stepped out the door, they would act differently and go their own way, competing and fighting with others for fame and profit among everyday people. How could they increase Gong? It could not increase at all. And for the same reasons, neither would their illnesses be healed. Why can't some people cure their illnesses after a long period of practice? Qigong is cultivation and something supernormal as opposed to everyday people's physical exercise. One must focus on Xing Xing in order to cure illnesses and increase Gong. Some people believe in setting up a bodily crucible and furnace to make Dan from gathered medicinal herbs, and they think that this Dan is Gong. It is not. This Dan only accumulates a portion of energy, and it does not include all energy. What kind of matter is Dan? It is known that we also have some other things for cultivating life and that our bodies will develop supernormal abilities and many other abilities. The majority are locked up and not allowed to be applied. There are many supernormal abilities, as many as 10,000. As soon as one is developed, it is locked up. Why aren't they allowed to manifest? The purpose is to prevent you from casually applying them in ordinary human society to do things. You are not allowed to casually disturb ordinary human society, and neither are you allowed to casually display your abilities in ordinary human society. This is because doing so could disturb the state of ordinary human society. Many people cultivate by way of enlightening. If you demonstrate all your abilities to them, they will see that everything is real and all will come to cultivate. People who have committed unpardonable evils will also come to cultivate, and this is not permitted. You are not allowed to show off this way. Also, you may easily commit wrongdoing since you cannot see the predestined relationship in the true nature of things. You think that you are doing a good deed, but may be a wrong deed. Therefore, you are not allowed to apply them. Because once you commit wrongdoing, your level will be lowered and your cultivation will be in vain. As a result, many supernormal abilities are locked up. What will happen? By the time one reaches the state of unlocking Gong, Gong, and is enlightened, this Dan will be a bomb that explodes and opens up all supernormal abilities, all locks in the body, and hundreds of energy passes. Bang! Everything will be shaken open. This is what the Dan is used for. After a monk is cremated at death, sarira remain. Some people claim that those are bones and teeth. How come everyday people do not have sarira? Those are just exploded down, and their energy has been released. They contain in themselves and a lot of substances from other dimensions. They are also materially existing things. After all, they are of little use. People now take them to be something very precious. They contain energy and are lustrous as well as very hard. That is what they are. There is still another reason for failing to increase Gong, namely, without knowing the Fa of high levels, one cannot move up in cultivation. What does this mean? As I just mentioned, some people have practiced many Qigong exercises. Let me tell you that no matter how many more you study, it is still useless. You remain only an elementary school pupil in cultivation. They are all principles at a low level. Such low-level principles cannot play any role in guiding your cultivation toward high levels. If you study elementary school textbooks in college, you will remain an elementary school pupil. No matter how many you study, it will be useless. Instead, you will be worse off. Different levels have different Fa, and different Fa assumes different guiding roles at different levels. Thus, low-level principles cannot guide your cultivation toward high levels. What we will talk about later are all principles for cultivation at high levels. I am incorporating things from different levels in the teachings. They will thus always play a guiding role in your future cultivation. I have several books, audio tapes, and videotapes. You will find that after watching and listening to them once, after a while, when you watch and listen to them again, they will still guide you. You are also consistently improving yourselves and continually guide you. This is the fun. The above are the two reasons for not being able to increase Gong. Without knowing the Fa at high levels, one cannot cultivate. Without cultivating one's inner self and one's Xing Xing, one cannot increase Gong. These are the two reasons.